Jason, my man, we are 2-0. We have a huge show tonight. I'm so excited. We're going to jump right in so quick tonight. We've got Les Johns with us from live from Wake Forest. We've got Richie Longshots coming up later. He is, oh man, I am, I've got the swear jar out, and we'll see what happens there. We've also got John Manson coming up later to recap UAB. But let's start this 2-0 party right. First of all, I'm so excited to be 2-0 as we bring in Les Johns live from Wake Forest. You're covering the soccer game down there. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We got a few questions for you. My first question is more of a general, and I'm going to take this logo off my head real quick so people can see me. Give me a second. My first question is more of a general program trajectory question. I don't know how long you've been following Wake Forest, but here at Liberty, over the past 5 years, we've gone from the doldrums of FCS, barely making the playoffs, to where we have been ranked number 17 to finish the season in the FBS. We're 2-0, and we've just had this huge trajectory. And I guess my question to you is, Wake has experienced something similar, obviously, at the P5 level. How have your fans reacted? How have the boosters reacted? How has the donors and the booster club in terms of money given, the crowd support, season tickets? Has all that kind of come along with the program? And are you guys still waking up pinching yourselves that you're a top 25 FBS football program and you're not a basketball school?
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. You went to me live, I think, right as the Deeks scored in the soccer match. So what had been a kind of quiet environment for me kind of changed to the Wake Forest theme song right as I got on. So that was kind of fortunate or unfortunate, kind of at the same time. I've been covering the Deeks since 2014. My first day in North Carolina was like mid-September 2014. It was the very first season with Dave Clawson as a head coach. And the first 2 years, Clawson went 3-9 here, 3-9, 3-9. And then things started to build after that. And now they've been to, 6 straight bowl games. Last season, the Gator Bowl, 11-3, ACC Atlantic champions. And it's not like last year was an anomaly. There's a building process, right? And, each year they got progressively better until, like I said, that 11-3 season last year. They're ranked number 19 in the country right now, 2-0 after a 45-25 win over Vanderbilt. And there is excitement around the program. There's a lot of engagement on Demon Deacon Digest at the message board. There's a tremendous amount of facility investment to support Dave Clawson in the program. They've recently signed him for a contract extension. It got to the point last season where other programs were kind of feeling around, and he was rumored to be involved in the Virginia Tech search. And athletic director John Curry signed Clawson and his assistant staff, provided more money for the assistants and signed him to a nice bonus and a lengthy extension. So there is a lot of excitement around the program, but I think much like what you guys have seen, it's not just like a 1 year, anomaly. The thought here at Wake Forest is that this is kind of the new normal, that they're just going to be good at football now, that the foundation's been laid the right way, and that Wake Forest is kind of here to stay.
Yeah, Les, thanks for joining us tonight. I have kind of a question, maybe a broader one, about just the recruiting makeup and how that changes programs. Obviously, as success comes, so then do the recruits, of course. And North Carolina is such an interesting state with the number of Power 5 schools, as Chad alluded to a minute ago. But what are you starting to see now from the program from a recruiting perspective, now that there's some national attention coming back to the program? You guys are having some success.
Well, there's the national attention, and then there's also the fact that there's now 12 Demon Deacons that are in the professional ranks, at the NFL level, playing every Sunday. So those kind of things are being noticed by recruits. I say that, but there's this flip side that Wake Forest is probably going to remain Wake Forest, and they're going to remain true to their identity. It's going to continue to be a program that develops folks. They're still not likely to bring in a ton of 4- and 5-star recruits. And if you look at the track record, there are more 2-star recruits in the NFL from Wake Forest than there are 4-star recruits. basically Dave Clawson's a firm believer in redshirting. It's very rare that you see a prospect come through and play in Winston-Salem that hasn't set for a year and use that year to develop, get bigger, faster, stronger. And they also have a pretty rigorous academic environment here at Wake Forest. So it's not exactly a school that's going to have the same national attraction as an Alabama or Georgia, for instance. It's a different environment at Wake Forest, and they're going to have to continue to recruit to that environment and finding prospects that want to play football, but also do actually care about the academic piece of it as well.
All right. Without mentioning a certain comment by one of our defensive linemen today that you tweeted out, without mentioning that, please. Oh no, there it is on the screen. I didn't want to bring that up. All right, Les. Here's the question. You guys have this unique offense where you kind of I watched some highlights today, and you guys are putting the ball in the belly of the running back, holding it there for a second or two, much longer than I've ever seen in my life. Hugh Freeze was commenting in his pregame or his press conference this week. He said it's a unique offense that you don't see around the country very much. Is that what he's talking about? Is that the main difference that makes you guys unique? Is the way you guys do that RPO, or are there other things that Clawson has that makes it a unique offense? Why was Hugh Freeze saying that? And Kirby, you can take that off of the screen immediately. Thanks, man.
Would you guys characterize it as unique or cute? I'm just curious.
Oh no, it's unique. It's winning ball games. We love it, and it's very scary. That's what we're gonna say.
Yeah, quite honestly, my jaw dropped when that quote came spewing out. So that was a good quote. Fun times. I would say that is the gist of it. It is the slow mesh RPO system, and basically why Sam Hartman's got that ball in the belly of the running back. He's scanning not only at the defensive line, but also at the second and third levels of the defense to see, are there openings right there immediately for the running back to take advantage of? Is the receiver already breaking free? Where are there good matchups? Those type of things. So it really is a read offense in the moment. Sam Hartman is making, decisions, in less than seconds, right? And the ball goes to the open man, whether that's the running back, whether that's Hartman himself as a keeper, or down the field to wide receiver. It is a pretty intricate offense. It is pretty unique. From my understanding is Stanford is kind of picking up and implementing some aspects of it this season. And it's produced 41 points a game last season for the Deeks. The proof is kind of in the pudding. There's not too many teams that have really been able to slow it down.
Les, what do you think as you have studied the Flames a little bit as we come to town on Saturday? What kind of things are you looking forward to in the game? How do you think the matchup is playing out on paper?
Well, Dave Clawson was extremely, probably especially after the one quote hit yesterday, Clawson and the players were over the top, complimentary of Liberty today, talking about the 9 turnovers, especially, about the ball hawking defense, the fact that you guys don't give up anything easy. And I haven't yet watched a ton of Liberty. My guy Cam Lemons at the Demon Deacon Digest is a guy who usually does our film reviews. But I'm understanding that it's going to be quite a fun game this Saturday.
Les, before we keep going here, tell us where. You got a lot going on. Tell us mainly where we can find you, other than your Twitter account, which we'll put on here. Where can we find you, and what are you doing down there with the Demon Deacons?
Yeah, I am the publisher of Demon Deacon Digest. That's in the 24/7 Sports Network. And like you said, you can find me at Les_Johns or at DemonDeaconDigest.com. I've been in the market covering the Deeks. This is my 9th season. It's been a blast. I'm a University of Kentucky graduate. My first job out of college was a newspaper, daily newspaper in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, called the Kentucky New Era. And then shortly after I was there for about a year, I got the opportunity to come here and cover the Deeks, and been doing it ever since.
So here's the question: with obviously you have a long history of basketball there, and as a Kentucky graduate, You might appreciate this question even more. Is Wake Forest a basketball school or a football school right now? Right now, in this era of students who are going there, would you categorize it as a basketball school or a football school, or are you going to kind of do the non-Calipari and say it's both?
Well, I would say I'll have to answer this as if athletic director John Curry is listening to my answer here, because you never know where he might be lurking. I would say it's much more than those two, because right now the Demon Deacons are number 4 in the country in soccer, right? Field hockey has won multiple national championships. Men's tennis has won a national championship within the last 5 years. There's quality, collegiate athletics littered all over this campus. I'd say right now football has the edge in terms of recent success, but historically, basketball has been incredibly important to Wake Forest students and the community here. And Steve Forbes in the second year had the best single season turnaround in program history. I think they're on the come up, as the kids would say. And there's a lot of good times ahead for Wake Forest basketball.
All right, Jason, one.
Yeah, Les, I was just going to say too, we've for our fans that are watching tonight and listening to the broadcast tonight, we should have a pretty good contingency of Flames Nation making the trip south and littered with red. Yeah, littered with red throughout the stadium. What can we expect there on game day? Give us a feel of what game day's like at your place.
Well, I think people will be excited to see the D-Town area, which has a lot of it has got live music, food trucks, and obviously they had the Deacon Walk 2.5 hours before the game, which I'm sure Liberty Flames fans won't care to see, obviously. But it's a good atmosphere. It's been an atmosphere that's been improving in recent years since John Curry's been athletic director. And then also you talk about the number of fans. I checked ticket sales yesterday morning, I think it was, and it's looking like it could push close to a sellout. So I'm expecting a really fun game day environment. And it's a game in which Wake Forest needs to make sure they don't look past, because Clemson beckons the week after. So if Wake Forest football players are looking at the calendar, look at the schedule, and look past the Flames, it could be a bad night in Winston-Salem for the Deeks.
It's time for you to get off and run over to the men's soccer post-game press conferences. Number 4 in the nation. That's pretty cool. Look forward to all your coverage. I've been loving your tweets this week and kind of following along. So we will be doing that. So thank you for your time. Get over to the soccer game post game. And here's a unique thing we're going to do. We're going to play your intro video. We're going to play it on your exit. So here I wanted to tell you this, Les, that I saw on your profile that you're into Funko Pop. Never heard of that, but we picked out a nice selection of music for your intro / outro video here. So make sure you stay around, listen to that music, and let me know what you think about it. Thank you so much, Les, for your time. And we'll see you on Saturday. I'll come up and say hello. So
look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Very
I really
much.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks, Les.
Thank you very much. All right, into the live with 55. Let's get it. Main man. First of all, let me just say that incredible performance this week. From my perspective, I don't know how you guys graded out, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I'm not going to say that the O-line never gets any shine or never gets any appreciation. But Jason and I just wanted to kind of clap and say that was beautiful. We loved it. We're 2-0. And it was an incredible performance. I saw tweets all week this week about the pockets have cleaner for a quarterback at Liberty. The run game, you guys were in on it. So how's that for praise? How's that for an intro? And tell me your thoughts on the game at UAB this past weekend.
Yeah, very proud of our group. That's kind of what we're working towards, what you saw on Saturday. So I know a lot of people were saying stuff about it. We're super excited about what we put on tape, but it's what have you done for me lately world, and we're already focused on next week, so or this week. So great job by our group this week. Great pockets. Thought we rushed very well and ran hard in the second half, warmed down, and had more guys play. You know, the depth really showed. And overall, great week. That's what we're working towards to have every week for you guys.
Brendan, you kind of segued into my question, man. I feel like sometimes it's a tale of two halves, right? I mean, the way the first and second quarters go, and then it just seems like the coaching staff are the kings of halftime adjustments. You know, you guys just always either looking at stat sheets or just seeing what the offense or the defense are giving you respectively. But what kind of adjustments did you guys make at halftime? Defensively, we saw a big difference, especially with the D line and the way they were flying around in the second half and just absolutely crushing, getting back into the backfield so much. But what kind of changes were made at halftime and adjustments did you guys see that that you took advantage of?
Yeah, going into a game like that, you don't know how they're going to play you because of the type of quarterback that we had. So you kind of take a little bit of time to figure out what exactly they're going to show you. And you kind of call certain plays to see how they line up to it. And then at halftime, when all the coaches are together, obviously they make their adjustments and they do their part. And then for us, I've mentioned it every single week. It's the way we practice. So we practice very, very hard. We believe we're in incredible shape. So I believe every third and fourth quarter, you're going to see a way different ball game out of our offensive line than you did in the first half, regardless of how good or bad we did. I think we're going to be a really, really good second half team this year. Our team's in shape. We got depth more than ever before. And our coach's abilities to make changes and adapt to what's going on has definitely proven true over the last couple weeks.
All right, do a little heavy lifting here as the host of this here show, and I'm going to tell you guys about RT Rogers, the hat that Brendan's wearing. My good friend Greg Rogers and his dad actually started the company in Hinton, West Virginia. What they do is they deliver fuel, all kinds of fuel. They deliver propane and all your fuel needs for heating in West Virginia and 6 states there. They can make it happen. I have known these guys for a long time. Greg is a Liberty alum. Way back in the day, he comes to a lot of the games. He supports Liberty Athletics. That's the only reason he's supporting this podcast and this segment right now is because he loves Liberty Flames. And, I'm really thankful for Greg and that group and what they do to deliver to those who need that type of fuel. And you know what? In that part of the country in West Virginia, it's not easy to get fuel to places. I've had it happen to me personally where my fuel tank ran out of, I had a fuel furnace back in the day, and it ran out of that diesel fuel, heating fuel. And it was in the middle of the night. It was really cold, and I had to call somebody here local. And that's what Greg and those guys do for everyone in West Virginia and all those hard places. Greg, thank you very much. So Brendan, there you go. That's how you do that, man. That's how you do that. I just wanted to show you that. Here's a, man, you kind of already took my question. Was about the third and fourth quarter. It was a significant improvement from what I could see, and I know you come on here every day and talk about the conditioning of your unit. But go ahead and just tell us again why are you so confident in your conditioning? Is it the work that you put in this summer? Is it the depth? Is it a combination? Is it the commitment to your fitness that everyone's making on that unit? What is it that has you guys playing so well in the third and fourth quarter?
There's a lot of factors that go into it. One of them's depth. Obviously, we have more guys than ever that can go in and play without a drop-off. That's number one. Two, Coach Dom and his staff do a great job all summer, all spring at getting us ready, whether it's prowlers, running, just the way we lift. It's strategically built for us to sustain ourselves during games, and it has proven true. And the third one is, as I said again, how we practice. So during practice, we have individual periods. That is when we work with our position coach, and that's before we typically face the defense and the scout team and do all that stuff. So every single position group gets with their coach for a couple, periods during practice, and you work on stuff during that. And our coach has made it a priority that we're going to work on what we need to work on for the week, but we're going to do a lot of reps and we're going to do it as hard as we can. So first couple of days of fall camp are pretty brutal because you're not ready for that. But you just go, go, go. And then now the games are easier than practice for us. So that's kind of the point we got at. It's all because of what we've done before to get here, and the depth, the workout plans, and the manner in which we practice, specifically during individual period, is the reason that we are conditioned the way we are.
Brendan, what do you think about as you guys are, as you said, it's a short celebration. Obviously, you're partying a little bit on Saturday night, but man, we got to get back to the grind right on Sunday and get going. As you're gearing up here for Demon Deacons and looking forward to what's ahead, what kind of things are you seeing on film so far for the defensive line that you're going to be paying attention to as an offensive line unit?
Yeah, our philosophy going into this game is that this game has to be won in the trenches, and that's every game, but specifically this game. They have a very high-powered offense, so we have to put up points and match them and hopefully outscore them. So there's a big responsibility in that aspect, but their defensive line, specifically the interiors, is the best that we've seen out of the 3 games so far. Potentially top unit that we'll see the whole season, besides the other couple Power 5s. I think the 2 interiors are super talented. They're typical ACC D linemen. They're about 6'1" to 6'3", about 290 to 310. They can move and they are strong, and that's how they are at all the teams. We've played a few of them before, so the main keys of beating them are going to be, using our depth to our advantage. Obviously, they have depth, but we believe in our conditioning, and then we're gonna have a great game plan from coach. And then the week of practice is big too. Taking every single rep seriously, like it's going to be against that type of guy. And so when you go out there, you're ready to go. So we're super excited. It's a great challenge. Both those guys are phenomenal players interior-wise, and I'm looking for a big battle on Saturday.
All right. So this is we're kind of letting you off easy off the hook this week. We had a quick 6-7 minute interview here, and I just want to send you off here with this. You guys played incredible. It was so good to see the offensive line kind of catch their way. I know you've been telling us that with the new coach and the conditioning and the scheming and all that, it's coming together. And that needs to be celebrated because obviously we've come a long way in that area. So here's what we're going to do to send Brendan off. Everybody grab your glass of LU Kool-Aid. Go ahead and if you're listening, if you're watching, go ahead and tap that to the camera. Cheers to the offensive line and the great performance you guys had, man. It was incredible to watch. It did not go unnoticed, so you don't have to pout all week about how nobody talks about the offensive line. We loved it, man. We were into it. We watched every second of it. And, we'll just leave you here with the final thoughts here.
Well, I appreciate it. Happy with what we've done the first 2 weeks, but typical football answer as always. We got more work to do. So looking forward to getting back to practice tomorrow, fine-tuning the game plan for this week, and hopefully throughout the season we can have a couple more toasts. So.
Yeah, and here, one other thing here is if we go 3-0, I'm on the hook for a nose ring. Caden Salter's got the nose ring. If we go 3-0, I'm on the hook for a nose ring. I want to know which of you two is going to get the nose ring with me if we go 3-0. Brendan, you probably shouldn't answer that. It's probably an NCAA violation. Jason, I'll text you later. We'll work on that nose ring later on. There you go.
I'm worried, bro. Hey, I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right, Brendan, thanks a lot, man. Good luck down in Wake Forest. We'll be there. We'll be cheering on the Flames. And again, congratulations on the awesome performance Saturday night. It was fun to watch, and I love seeing you guys succeed as an offensive line unit. So, congratulations.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Good luck, Brendan.
Well, hey, everybody, my name is Jason Porter. I'm with Legacy Real Team Development, and it's been a great partnership here with Sea of Red lately. I was with Liberty Athletics as the Associate Athletic Director for Sports Medicine, so took care of all of the healthcare needs and coordinated that with a fantastic staff at Liberty in the athletic department, of course, for about 5 or 6 years, and then moved into real estate full time and with Legacy Realty and Development. And it's just been a great pleasure to continue to stay connected with my Liberty University family and the athletics family as well. Been enjoying serving them. A lot of the graduate assistants and some of the staff that I hired has come back now and has been using me for residential services, which I really appreciate. But certainly do residential real estate as far as buying and selling of homes, of course. And then also we have a strong commercial presence as well. So commercial real estate, obviously a very, very different animal than is residential. But whether it's buying and selling commercial properties or just the leasing of properties, we can help with that as well. So it's been a great opportunity to service our commercial clients as well. And then certainly on the investment front too, a number of folks who have discovered the power of passive income through real estate and investing in real estate with rental properties or fix and flips, those kind of things. And so great joy to serve my clients in that capacity as well. The other thing that I would add too is just a very, very full Rolodex at this point of contractors and subs and just different professional contacts that I've made through the years. So if I can ever provide any of those folks to you and all of a sudden you need a plumber or an electrician or a contractor to build your deck, whatever, I'd certainly be glad to give you access to that Rolodex and those references as well. Because a lot of times it's not exactly who you know, it's who you know that knows how to do the job well. And so I would be glad to provide those services for you as well. So love Flames Nation, love taking care of my Liberty family. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, my contact information is all right here on the screen. And I would love to be a service to you and yours. Thanks so much.
All right, Jason, thank you so much for everything you're doing with the Sea of Red and Liberty Flames Athletics. I hear you on the radio. I see you all over the place, but man, you're killing it. You're doing a great job. It was awesome seeing you Saturday, and your little guy there who was he has no taste for anything but tackle football. That's all he wants to get into. I loved it. So yeah, man, thank you very much. Also, I wanted to say this real quick. Thank you for sponsoring the tailgate that we had. It was rainy. We had a good time though. Had some good food. We'll be doing it again later on. But those tailgates that a Sea of Red puts on, where there's a lot of free food and everybody comes by and says hi. It's a good time to meet everybody. That's all sponsored by Jason. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for sponsoring this show and hanging out with us. Dude, we're kind of starting to get this chemistry and make a good team here, I think. So fabulous work. You got any parting words here? You headed to North Carolina? What's going on?
Yeah, just a lot of fun on Saturday for sure. Definitely we weren't quite as wet as Soldier Field in Chicago for sure, but we had a good time doing that. And yeah, my little dude's still talking about that. And even my one job was to keep him in his raincoat, and that wound up somewhere around his waist, playing with your son, running around doing tackle wet football. So we went to the bathroom and put his head underneath the dryer there and trying to freshen him up a little bit. But man, it's an honor to be with you guys, and love Sea Red and Flames Nation, man. Let's go.
Yep, we'll talk to you next week, next Tuesday. All right. Good. We are at the time of the show here where you need to hide your kids, hide your wife. If you're on a dorm at Liberty, you probably should sign off, go off campus, do something. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I have given him so many ground rules. I've got the leash on. I don't know what else to do. But without further ado, it is time to bring on my man, Richie Longshots, and go ahead and hit that intro video. This music gets me hyped up, and we're gonna get it. So Jason, have a good night, and we're in for a ride here. And oh, by the way, Nick, producer, before you hit that intro video, you need to find that mute button as fast as possible. Stay close to that mute button. Stay close to that exit button, abort mission, all of that. So let's get it.
Big delay.
There he is. There he is, live in person. Richie Longshots. All right, Richie, we have built this thing up all day long that you were going to be lay. It's so exciting to see you in action. You got the tilt hat on, I see. You've got a Liberty football jersey. You're live in New Jersey right now, right?
I'm live in New Jersey. I heard that intro. I almost started hitting the fist pump.
Oh, man.
Like my aunts and uncles did in the Jersey Shore back in the day.
Awesome. I was going to say the first person, first of all, you're fresh off of the GTL, I'm sure. The first person that can put what GTL stands for in the comments in YouTube, we will send a free field hockey shirt, field hockey school t-shirt to. So the first person that puts what GTL is in the comments, you'll get a free t-shirt. Just go ahead and put that in there. We'll be watching. All right, Richie, I guess the first place we start is the Liberty game coming up. What do you got this week? Honestly, I wanted to also compliment you on 2 straight winning weeks. Week 0 was a little rough, but here we are at 3-2 the last 2 weeks. So, what do you got for the Liberty game coming up?
Well, Chad, before I jump into that, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be on here today, because 3 weeks ago, people thought I was a dead man. People were chirping me on Twitter. People were chirping me on Instagram. I'm sure there were people on TikTok, Be Real, all the social medias. But little do people know that I have Elmertown staying power, and I'm not going anywhere. Because after that week 0, we rattled off 2 straight profitable weeks, and I'm back. We're a couple of weeks away. We got to get this Jason Porter back on the screen, because I might need to buy some property, because if I'm winning too much, the government's going to catch on. So 3-2, 2 straight weeks. I'm flirting with 4-1. I'm flirting with it. Brother, sister dorm, hanging out the window, flirting with it. But this game, I'm not going to make some friends when I talk about this, because I think Wake Forest is one of the best teams we are going to play.
Oh, no. All right. I can tell where this is going.
This is not going well. But have no fear. I'm gonna circle back. We're gonna make this work.
All right.
I think Sam Hartman is an NFL quarterback. I think the toughest team we're gonna play. I think they are as good as Arkansas. I think they are as good as BYU. They have Sam Hartman back from his injury. He is a NFL talent. They're gonna be slinging the ball. It is homecoming, the toughest team that we are going to match up against. It is going to be homecoming. The stadium is going to be crazy. Our first road game, our only road game, it was against Southern Miss, who they don't have any fans, but apparently they just got some new volleyball arena thanks to Brett Favre doing some more inappropriate texting. And that wasn't a true road game. We are now going into a road game where the fans are going to be going nuts. It is homecoming. I looked up that Deke Town that first guy was talking about. They apparently get like 90% of their students showing up to these games. So it is going to be rocking. And right now, the line is 16.5. It opened up at 15.5. I thought it was going to be 21. Shout out to Manson. He called that line right away. He said 15.5, 16.5. I'm starting to think he's got a guy on the inside. But the line moved a little bit to 16.5. And I just think Wake is that good there, that deep. It is going to be homecoming. Sam Hartman's return to Wake Forest live. And full disclosure, I'm not going to bet the game. I'm not going to put my money and bet against Liberty. That would be wrong for me to do. So I'm going to give out the pick. I'm going to give out Wake minus 16. Now, 16.5. Again, I'm not betting it, but that's the pick I'm giving out. That's the pick that I'm willing to put onto my record for this week. Now, the over-under in this game is 63.5, and that's a lot of points because Liberty has not, overtime game, 21 points last week, facing up against a good defense. And I'm going to be at the game live, going down to Wake Forest. This is the first Liberty game I've been to since like homecoming 2017. They almost threw me out of the Doc's Diner parking lot because they didn't like what was in my red Solo cup. And I'm going back to Wake, and I refuse to go to this game and bet the under. I refuse. I would rather work at the Rot for 18 hours like I had to do in 2011 than go to this game live and bet the under. So I may sprinkle the over just because I'm there. I'm in the moment. I have to. I'm getting booed in the chat. I expected it. It's fine. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not telling you to bet the money. I'm just giving you what I think my pick would be. So I bet the over just to have some fun. Again, could be salter season. I'm going to be in the stands. I'm going to steal a healthy amount of salt shaker packets from whatever concessions they have there, and I'm just going to be launching them up should we end up victorious. I'm in the nose.
Salt shaker.
I'll get a nose ring. I can't wear it because of what I do for a living, but I will get a nose ring for the picture at Wake Forest on Saturday if we win.
Oh man. Well, there was a lot to unpack there. So let me get this straight. You think Wake's going to cover the spread?
Yeah.
And you're betting the over because you're going to the game live.
Yeah.
But typically you would just stay away from this game in if you didn't have to give out a pick.
Correct. I agree.
All right.
And I just see in the comments, homecoming absolutely is a distraction. It is a look ahead for Wake, but I just don't buy a whole bunch into that look ahead for a team. Wake plays Clemson pretty much every year. So for them, that's not a look ahead. They play that game every year. This is not, like they're playing Alabama or they're playing Tennessee, a game that sticks out. They're playing Clemson all the time. So it's not a total look ahead. It's a huge game for them. They've had it circled. But I just think with Sam Hartman, a veteran team, they're not going to let that kind of get the best of them.
All right. As far as the rest of the slate, what are you willing to put on your record here that we're trying to keep above 500? What do you like? What do you like so far? Producer Nick, can we flash that year-to-date record for Longshots up here, and then also Longshots? Go ahead and tell us what you got going on, cooking around the rest of the college football.
Absolutely. I've been going back and forth this week. I'm here, I'm there. I'm like Chad's Twitter picture. It changes every 10 minutes. I just can't keep myself together. First game that I like, and this might be a little bit of a homer pick because I have some ties to Rutgers, but Rutgers might very well be a wagon this year. 2 wins, huge upset over BC. They blew the doors off Wagner, and they are playing one of the worst FBS teams outside of the Turtle 2, UMass, and UConn in Temple. Temple is bad. Huge game for Rutgers. This is a bit of a rivalry game, that whole tri-state area. I heard it through the grapevine that they're busing in like 20 buses of Rutgers students to this game. It's at Lincoln Financial Field. Rutgers, sneaky. And I just think it's minus 17.5. Got to jump on it. I don't get the opportunity to bet Rutgers a ton because I'm in New Jersey. So Rutgers minus 17.5. This is more so a bet against Temple than it is for Rutgers because I've seen Rutgers let me down a million times. Next up, Kansas State Tulane. The over-under is 48. Right now in college football, I would not bet any under unless it's featuring one of the 2 Iowa teams because we're seeing points every which way. K-State has one of the best running backs in the country in Deuce Vaughn, and Tulane can sling the ball a little bit as well. They are one of those frisky Power 5 teams that always find a way to keep games close when they're playing. They're a G5 team that when they play a Power 5 team close. So I like that over 48. You need 7 touchdowns. That's it. 7. 2 for 3 quarters and 1 for the 4th quarter. Wham, bam. Thank you, man. You got yourself a cover. Next up, I never thought I would say these words in the year 2022 of our Lord that I'm going to bet on Kansas University football. They are catching 10. They have won. They won their first 2 games. They have the best offense in college football. They've rattled off 50-point games 2 straight weeks. They won last week on the road against West Virginia. They're playing Texas Tech, and Texas Tech has played 2 straight. I got to check my notes here. I think played 2 straight overtime games. 2 straight games. Texas Tech went to double overtime and then triple overtime. They're going to be gassed. Kansas just won on the road. I have no doubt in my mind that they could go in, keep their streak going. They're putting up numbers, which is wild because it's Kansas. And they were at one point in that UMass, Rutgers, UConn category of just terrible FBS teams. But Kansas plus 10. And last but not least.
Hang on. Catch your breath for a minute. This is incredible. The picks.
They might not be winners.
I got a question for you. That's what my question is.
Hit me.
You're spewing out all these stats and you're loving these things on Tuesday night. How confident are you on Saturday when these things roll around? Are you so far this season? Have you looked back and said, you know what, I'm going to roll with the Liberty line, or are you like, oh man, my vibes aren't right, my it's not checking out. How confident are you on these picks on Saturday? Typically,
when I commit to something, I'm all in.
oh,
Obviously,
okay.
there's a lot of time in between Tuesday night and Saturday. Things happen. Last week, they announced that Sam Hartman came back after I recorded it. So I got very lucky there. A lot of times it'll flip the other way. I know the Old Dominion game, week 1, Old Dominion, Virginia Tech, I gave it out at 7.5. The line moved like the other way. Like I ended up losing points. And that's just the way it rolls. I understand that that's part of it. Normally, I make my picks on a Friday night. In years past, I'd lock in all my bets, track the line movement, start to make some, do some research. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We're along for the ride, and we're just going to do what it says on the line. I'm riding the line. But I got one more game.
Yeah, let's get it.
I got one more. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the number is. But sometimes you just got to throw the numbers out. And I see SMU against Maryland. 2 high-powered offenses. So far this year, both teams have hung 500 yards. They're averaging 500 yards of offense so far this year. They're letting up 300 yards of offense. And they aren't playing very good teams. So they're letting pretty bad teams score a ton of points on them. They got Tua's younger brother. And they have Tanner Mordecai, who just slings the ball. It's like 72.5. I could see this game just being like 52-49 after 3 overtimes and just an absolute runaway with it. Also, the game's on Fox Sports 1, which means you could get a Gus Johnson on the call. And there's nothing better than when you bet the over in a game and Gus Johnson's on the call, because he's yelling, you're yelling. People at the bar are looking at you like you're a straight degenerate, but you don't care because you got Gus Johnson narrating your victory. But none of that will matter, Chad, because at the end of the day, I want the Flames to win. I'll go 0-5 if it means that we walk out of Wake Forest with a victory. And I'm going to the game this weekend, my first game since 2017. And to be honest, I haven't had my $100,000 worth of fun yet when it comes to Liberty University. So I'm looking forward to getting down there, seeing what the tailgate holds. Chad's got me tickets to tailgates with the suits and all that. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm going to be down there. And if you're out there, come say hi. I might have beverage. We'll see. We'll see where the night and the day and maybe even the morning takes us.
All right. I'm going to give Sever standing ovation for A Sea of Red live. That was incredible performance. Look, man, I hope your picture is as good as you are live, and appreciate all you're doing for us this year. And we're riding with the Liberty line as always. So thank you very much, and we'll catch you again next week.
We'll see you, Chad. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that was wild, and he did a great job. Thankful for his takes, his personality. He's very, very witty, very smart, very on the fly there. So he does a lot of preparation for that segment, and it's been a lot of fun this year. All right, up next, and it is the creator, founder, all things A Sea of Red. My good friend John Manson will be joining us. Go ahead and hit that intro. John, you got a smile on your face. I'm not sure if that's because we're 2-0 or because Richie Longshots just killed it. What's going on tonight?
Man, how am I supposed to follow up that guy? He's good. Where do you find these people at?
I don't know. Liberty Twitter is a wild place, and it's a fun thing to be a part of. Let's see in the comments here by Paul. Congratulations, Paul. Paul Boyce won the extra large field hockey. GTL stands for Gym Tan Laundry. It's a Jersey Shore thing, and I'm sure Richie Longshots does that on a regular basis. John, we'll go ahead and start with a question straight from the chat from Ryan Kalo. How do you think K-Salt's going to do this week? and I'm going to set this question up a little bit with, I think he improved the second half. He went through, talk a little bit about the media bashing that he went through with Hugh Freeze on Monday that had fans kind of freaking out. Is that a normal thing? But overall, how do you think he'll perform this week? Is Freeze pushing the right buttons? Did the improvement in the second half give you kind of a hope that he will have a good performance at Wake this week? What are you expecting from K-Salt this week?
Well, we all know this isn't Hugh Freeze's first rodeo, right? I mean, he's been around a long time, right? He's been a head coach for a long time. He's been a head coach in the SEC. He knows how to work the media, play the media. He knows how to send messages through the media, through press conferences. So it's not like he just got out there and started rambling about Caden Salter, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, what did I just say? No, he knew what he was doing. He knows how these players are, at least he hopes to think how Salter will respond to this. Obviously, Salter hasn't been playing for long. He's only got the one start under his belt. So we don't exactly know how he'll respond, but Freeze is hoping that he'll respond in a positive manner, and he'll take that criticism, that public criticism, well, and respond positively. So, it's been a lot for Salter, to get thrust into the role he's playing, right? I mean, he was third string. We talked about this last week. He was third string coming into the season. Then all of a sudden he's getting thrown in the fourth quarter, down by a touchdown, and leads the team to the win in 4 overtimes. And then this past week, he's taken his first career start. UAB finally is the first team that has some game film on him. And so he had to adjust to that, and he'll have to adjust to that again this week as Wake Forest has a whole game plus a quarter and a few overtimes to game plan and scheme for him, knowing he's going to be the guy. But yeah, I mean, I expect Salter. There's going to be a lot of plays run. This will be the first time that Salter really gets to play with, clean weather. I mean, it doesn't rain a lot in Texas, right? He's not used to playing in a downpour like he had to play in Saturday night. So, and he admitted that it affected him some. I expect a lot out of him, and Liberty's going to need a lot out of him. I think he's the key to the game. I think if Liberty's going to win, even as good as the Liberty defense is, that Liberty's going to have to score 30, 40 points to even be competitive with Wake Forest. That's just how it is. But I expect a lot out of Salter, and I expect him to have some really good, really gaudy numbers this weekend against Wake Forest.
Yeah, I mean, you can see his numbers there: 14 carries, 71 yards, 1 TD. He was 13 for 25, 202 with a 56.9 QBR. You know what I have kind of noticed is he doesn't try to do too much. I mean, he's always looking downfield, but he's not willing to take that risk and maybe throw an interception when we can't afford it. So I've been really impressed so far as a redshirt freshman with both Freeze calling the plays and Caden executing. I would have said we would not be 2-0 if this was the case. If we had to start a redshirt freshman in week 2 against UAB, a team that I think is going to win 9 or 10 games this year, I would not have said we're going to be 2-0. So credit to those guys for finding a way to win. And yeah, he's only going to improve and get better. Freeze was hard on him in the media this week, but I'm with you. That's a veteran coach who knows exactly what he's doing. And I think he's kind of telling us the truth, honestly. I think that he is speaking some truth into Caden's via the media. And whatever he's telling at the press conference, I am 1,000% sure he's having those same conversations, if not a little bit more in depth with Caden himself prior to doing that or very shortly after. So Freeze is pushing all the right buttons. He knows what he's doing. I didn't panic too much. I saw those comments, and I saw some fans kind of kind of panicking there. All right. Next question, John, is about 2-0. We're 2-0 here starting the season. We obviously have a difficult matchup here against Wake Forest. Are you surprised we're 2-0 at this point? And especially given that our starting quarterback got hurt halfway through game 1. And then secondly, along with this question is, what would a win at Wake Forest mean? What are the implications? I mean, what all could happen for this program if we get that win on Saturday? So it's kind of a twofold question. Do you expect to be here? Did you expect to be here? And what could this win on Saturday mean for the program?
So first of all, at the tailgate on Saturday before the game, you're giving me a hard time for my answers being so long-winded in our session being up so quickly. Then you give me two questions like that, which each one requires at least 3 or 4 minute answers. So I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I mean, if you go back to look at our 2-0, our preseason schedule predictions that we put out and put a video up on YouTube and did, I think that was part of a podcast too, the first week maybe. But yeah, I mean, I think we both predicted 2-0. I know I predicted 2-0. You might have picked a UAB loss. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, I predicted us to be 2-0 going into this game. I thought that these first 3 games were the most important really on the season, because if you come out 0-2 or I guess 1-2 or 0-3 in the first 3 games, then that's going to be difficult to recover from, and even to get to 6 wins and be bowl eligible. But now that you're 2-0, you got a chance to really set yourself up for a special season. And to answer your question, I thought we would beat Southern Miss all along going into that game. Even in the middle of the game, I thought we would, and probably until the fourth quarter when the offense was looking really unstable and we were trailing by a touchdown and JB had just thrown that pick 6. That was the first time I was kind of like, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to play out. And then last week I predicted Liberty to win, but my gut was not feeling too settled, if you will. So I didn't know. I felt really uncomfortable in the first half of the game Saturday against UAB. And not until we got a lead did I start to feel a little bit more comfortable about it. So, yes, I am slightly surprised we're 2-0, but not crazy. And what was your other question? Oh, what would this game mean? Yeah, I mean, this is a huge game. I mean, it's so easy. I've got an article coming out that'll be published on Thursday that I finished writing today that kind of talks about the importance of this game. But yeah, going into Wake Forest, yes, we're 16.5-point underdogs. That's a huge mountain to climb, right? And Wake Forest won 11 games last year. They returned most of their production. I think 70% of their production's back. Obviously, Sam Hartman's back. They got their eyes on bigger and big prizes, right? ACC championships, college playoffs, New Year's Six bowls, all that sort of thing. So they're, they got Clemson next week, but they're well coached. They're not going to overlook Liberty. So, yeah, it's a huge mountain to climb. But if Liberty were to somehow win this game, if you look at the schedule following, you've got Akron next week at home, which Liberty will be a 17-point favorite roughly in that game. Then you got ODU on the road. Yes, ODU beat Virginia Tech, but then they went and lost to East Carolina this past week. And I think that first game was, yes, ODU's improved, but I think it's also a little bit of a testament about Virginia Tech as well, too. So, and we have to remember the last 2 times we played at ODU in the last 3 or 4 seasons, the final score of those games. So have they made up 30 or 40 points against Liberty in 1 year? I doubt it. So, Liberty be favored. It'll be a tough game, though, no doubt. And then I forget exactly how it falls, but UMass and Gardner-Webb are in there as well. And, but anyways, Liberty could be, if they were to win Saturday against Wake Forest, they could, they would be favored to win their next 4 games, and is a lot of ifs and coulds and all that. And Coach Freeze would be so mad at us if he listened to this segment right now. So don't listen, Coach. But anyways, if they could get to 7-0, and 7-0 going into, if you look at the schedule, BYU week, which we all know what BYU, they just beat Baylor, a top 10 team. I think they're ranked number 12 right now in the top 25. So I know they got Oregon and a couple other tough games on their docket coming up. So you don't know how they'll do either. But you could have a top 20, a top 15 type matchup. If Liberty's 7-0, I would think they would be ranked by that point. They should be ranked by that point, especially beating a team like Wake Forest. So just put yourself in that spot. If you got a top 15 matchup, an undefeated Liberty, a 6-1, 7-0 BYU in late October in Lynchburg, I mean, the stories kind of write themselves there. So, I mean, yeah, it's a huge game.
I appreciate you giving the effort to try to get that all in like 4 minutes. That was good. Yeah, Mormons versus the Evangelicals in Lynchburg, both ranked in the top 20. That's easily college game day material. A lot riding on this game Saturday. John, what is the way that we can win? What is it going to take for Liberty? What have we done well so far in the first two games, and what do we need to clean up from those first two games? And what have you seen from Wake Forest? What do we need to do Saturday to win the game? Do you think we'll pull another Virginia Tech scheme where we kind of hold on to possession and try to run and try to milk the clock forever, and try to win it on a last second field goal? Do you think we try to unleash the beast that is K Salt with all kinds of plays? What is it? Do you think, honestly, I'll give you my opinion after you go, but what is it going to take? What have you seen from Liberty so far this year? And what have you seen from Wake Forest? What is it going to take for us to win that game Saturday down in Wake Forest?
Yeah, we're talking about how important this game is, or how big the game is. I don't think important is the right word, but how big the game is just for Liberty and their season this year, and possibly getting to a 7-0 or a very gaudy record. But at the same time, Liberty's also playing with house money a little bit too, because being 2-0, getting those first two wins under your belt that were, toss-up games, that were both decided by one score, one of them going to 4 overtimes, right? And now you're going to a game where you're a, 3-score underdog. So Liberty's playing with a little bit of house money. They have nothing to lose. Everybody's expecting them to lose to Wake Forest, and no harm, no foul if that happens. So yes, it's a big game, but at the same time, Liberty is kind of not got a lot to lose. But yeah, to pull the upset, it's going to take a lot. Liberty's going to have to play a near perfect game to be able to pull the upset. You got to win the turnover battle, which Liberty's done each of the first two games. Can they get another 3, 4, 5 turnovers? And if they get those turnovers, they have to turn around and score off those turnovers, right? Against UAB, they got 4 turnovers, which helped, keep them off the scoreboard and keep them from scoring and stalling some of their drives and things like that. But Liberty didn't score any points off the turnovers. That's not going to happen. That you can't do that and win against Wake Forest Saturday night. You can't get 3+ turnovers and then not score off those. So Liberty has to do that. The defense also has to keep things, within reach. It can't be one of these games where we're exchanging scores every possession. That's not going to, Liberty's not going to be able to put up 50 points against Wake Forest with Caden Salter in his second start. 2 years from now, could they? Yeah, I think they could. But today, I'm not sure that that's the type of game we want to get into. So Liberty's got to win the turnover battle, has to take advantage of those said turnovers and score. And kind of going along with that is Liberty has to be very efficient and win the red zone battle. When they get in the red zone, they need touchdowns, not field goals. And on the flip side, when Wake Forest gets in the red zone, which they're going to do with this offense and how talented they are, Liberty needs stops. They need to hold them to field goals, create some turnovers like they've done so far this year, and also need to play a near perfect game, in all other facets of the game, right? Can't have special teams miscues, need to make your field goals that you have, extra points, etc. So, no blocked kicks, stuff like that, no inopportune penalty. You have to 16.5-point favorites. You got to play close to perfect and win the turnover battle. But, so those are kind of my main keys to the game. K Salt needs to play well. He needs to be efficient. He needs to trust his reads, trust his progressions, not bail out of the pocket like Freeze was talking about. Because Wake Forest has got some fast defensive linemen, fast linebackers. They'll be able to, limit those gains. Where in high school, he might have picked up 10 or 12 yards. He might be getting a 2-yard gain. And now Liberty's got, 3rd and 9 instead of, picking up a first down on a second down pass or something like that. But yeah, so those are some of my main keys to the game. And Liberty, I think the key also too is Hugh Freeze has said this too, is get it into the fourth quarter where you're within striking distance and then see what happens. That's what happened against Virginia Tech. You got into the fourth quarter where you were within striking distance, and then you never know what's going to happen. All it takes is one mistake, one way or the other, to kind of flip the game. And then the favorite, the home team, is also playing, a little panicked, a little scared, scared to make a play, playing not to lose, that sort of thing. So that's when you see some of these upsets happen.
Well, let me just say, I watch a lot of college football and NFL football analysis shows. and they never give specific answers like that. They're always like, oh, the team that wins the turnover battle or the team that has the most yards. So that was good stuff there. Here's my 2 keys to the game to win. Liberty has to be able to get pressure with our front 4 without blitzing. Okay, so we've been able to do that so far, but this is a different animal. Wake Forest has a very what do you say, advanced, mature, experience. That's the word I'm looking for. Offensive line. So if Darrell Johnson and all of those guys up front, I'm not going to be able to name all of them because it's a group of like 8 of them. If those guys, Darrell has been playing incredible. Free said he had his best game at UAB or when UAB came to town. If that unit can get pressure with just 4 guys rushing, I think that has to happen for us to win. There's no way we're going to be able to stop Sam Hartman if we have to blitz 2 or 3 guys just to get some pressure on the quarterback. And they have a very experienced offensive line. So that's what I'll be paying attention to. Kendi Charles, whenever he's in, and all of those guys up front, can they get pressure with just 4 people? That's a key. The other key that I had, excuse me, is basically it falls back on the defense. Can we get those turnovers again like we've been getting? I mean, those have been very critical for us to be 2-0 is the turnover battle, and we've won that so far. A lot of them have been tips. A few of them have been forced fumbles, but we've also had a little bit of luck. And I'll throw a third key out there, John, and I hate to be critical. I hate to be critical on this show, but it has to be said. Our special teams unit has to step up. Every game they cost us. Every game. And I'm sorry, I'm going to get on a little soapbox here and I'm going to preach for a minute. We have missed field goals. We have kicks out of bounds. We have muffed punts. We have long returns given up. We don't have any scores on special teams. So that unit, Tanner Burns, he's going to get those guys ready and study up on the film. I mean, there's not much you can do whenever you have a perfect snap, a perfect hold, perfect protection, and you just miss the kick. But there is some things you can do whenever you're giving up big plays in the return game, or you are like the other night. The other night, we come down there and the guy calls a fair catch, and we just go and plow right into him, give up 15 yards. It didn't hurt us in that case, but special teams has to be cleaned up. And I'm sorry, I hate to be critical. Because it's not my job to sit here and beat up the Flames. My job is to kind of promote the Flames and talk about all the good things they're doing. But if we're going to win at Wake Forest, we can't do that. We cannot give up any kind of game-changing plays on the special team. So they call it Beamer ball. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia, and they call it Beamer ball, where you win special teams, and that gives you a big advantage in the game, especially in games like this where we're outmatched talent. We're a 16.5-point underdog. You have to win special teams. I don't feel good about that right now. I'm hoping that unit can come out and make some kicks, make some plays, not give up any large penalties, not give up any large returns. All right, I'm off my soapbox, John. I hope that we don't get canceled for the rest of the year. What is your thought on going down to Wake Forest, that atmosphere down there? I asked Les Johns this about a little bit earlier. They kind of have a similar trajectory of Liberty, although at the P5 level, they're just now experiencing some recent success. He told us there's going to be a sellout down there for Liberty. How exciting is that, and what kind of atmosphere do you expect from down there? Is this team legit? I just can't wrap my mind around Wake Forest having a legit football program. What have you seen so far? What are the pundits saying around the country? Is this Wake Forest team a legit top 25 P5 team, or are they just kind of sometimes you get that benefit of an early schedule or something like that, or just name recognition with Sam Hartman and the coach and kind of things they've done in the past, or is this truly a top 25 team and program?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to making the trip down there and seeing this atmosphere. I was down there in 2012 when Turner Gill was coaching in his first career game and at Liberty. And, the atmosphere at Wake Forest has not always been the best, right? I mean, it's not the hotbed of college football necessarily, right? But yeah, I mean, I think they seat 35,000 there at Truist Field, and yeah, they're expecting a capacity crowd, so it's definitely not going to be the way it was at Southern Miss. I mean, I think they might have had 15,000 there if that's correct, and they made some noise at times and was trying to make it a hostile environment. But this will be a little bit more of that than what we saw at Southern Miss this weekend. And Wake Forest is legit. I mean, to be honest with you, I was expecting them to be ranked in the top 15 preseason. And if you remember, the news about Hartman being out came out about a week prior to those polls being released. So, if you ask Damian Sordelette, which he's a voter in the AP Top 25 poll, and I talked to him about it at the time, a lot of people dropped Wake either out of their polls or down to 24, 25 in the preseason, where a lot of them, if you go back and look at the way too early preseason Top 25 polls back in the summer or spring, Wake Forest was – in the top 15. I saw some places they're in the top 10. I think him and when the polls were coming out and when people had to put those picks in, is nobody knew how long Hartman was going to be out. I mean, nobody knew what his illness was. They just knew it was a non-football related illness. And, he could have been out for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, the whole season. Nobody really knew. And, I'm shocked he's back after 1 week. Right. But yeah, I mean, they're a legit top 25 team. I think, we'll find out a lot about them, here in these next 3 weeks. I don't want to take anything away from Liberty, of course, but they got Liberty, then they got Clemson and Florida State, their next 2 games. So we're going to find out if they're legit over these next 3 games. And if they win all 3 of those, they're going to be in the top 10. And I think they have the potential to do that. I mean, they're very good on offense. I mean, they got one of the best offenses in the country. I don't care what you say. I mean, Hartman's a legit quarterback. He's an NFL quarterback. Coach Freeze and some of the defensive staff already said this is the best quarterback we've faced since we've been at Liberty. And Liberty's played some good teams with some good quarterbacks over the past 3 or 4 years. So this offense it wouldn't shock me if they scored 50 or 60 points against what we think is a very good Liberty defense on Saturday night. But at the same time, we'll see. Like I said, it's going to be key. Can Liberty score enough to keep the game competitive and to make it a tight game and within doubt in the fourth quarter? That's what I'm curious to see.
Yeah, John, you stole my next question. He's easily the best quarterback we faced in my time here, is what Josh Aldridge had to say. I was just going through the list: Hendon Hooker, Matt Corral. There's probably, the list goes on. That's pretty high praise for Sam Hartman and this unit. It's important that we get pressure with 4 people and 4 guys rushing and do the job. So, you know what? Special teams, getting pressure, facing Hartman, all of that kind of stuff. Guess what? We're 2-0. We're playing with house money this weekend in Winston-Salem. If we lose, I hope we cover the spread just so that Richie Longshots is losing. But here's the other thing: is like, we don't have to win this game. We obviously want to win every game, but we don't have to win this game to be bowl eligible, to have a successful season. We're 16.5 point underdogs. We want to win, but we don't have to win. I guess that's my outlook. What's your outlook on this in terms of what it means for a successful season? Do we have to go down there to Wake Forest? I guess what I want to see Caden Salter take that next step forward, where I know that he's the guy. I'm still getting a lot of questions in the press conferences and then just some of the plays I'm seeing that are busted. I want to know that he's the guy going forward for the remaining 9 games of the season. And then I also want to see our defense be tested. I mean, this is the best offense we'll play all year, most likely. I mean, Virginia Tech and BYU, they got good offenses, but they're nothing compared to what Sam Hartman and those guys are putting up. So if our defense can get pressure with 4 and make a few turnovers, they're legit a top defense in the country. So those are the 2 things I'm looking forward to. Despite a win or a loss, I don't think is as important to me right now. And that's coming from a guy who wants to win every game. John, what are you looking at, and what are your kind of expectations this weekend?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think here's the way I'll sum it up. I think a loss does not ruin the season. It still sets you up to have a very successful season, still sets you up to have big games on the horizon, right, against BYU, Arkansas, and Virginia Tech. You can still have some statement wins in some of those games. So a loss doesn't ruin your season, but a win can make your season, right? I mean, if you win this game, like we said, it can set you up to have a 2020 type Liberty football season, challenge to be the best Liberty football team of all time, get ranked in the top 25, have a college game day. I mean, remember, we had college game day coming to Coastal back in 2020 before Malik and others got COVID and that game got canceled. So that was the type of season we were having then, and we're ranked in the top 25. A win against Wake Forest Saturday sets you in line to do the exact same thing. Now, of course, if that happens, we'll talk next week this time about, okay, well, now you can't, fumble the bag against, Akron, ODU, et cetera, et cetera. But a win can set you up for the best season, the most hyped season in Liberty football history.
Well, we got an opportunity here in front of us to go down and win. I mean, we've won the first two. That has set us up here to go down to Wake Forest, play with some house money, try to get that dub, and create what could be the best season in Liberty history. It all comes down to this weekend. If we play well and we can get this win somehow, I will be convinced we're set up for something very special. If we lose, we can still do something special this year. It's kind of a win-win situation here. No problems if we lose, but if we win, man, it would mean so much. John, thank you so much for your time here. Got a little housekeeping to do here, and that is, one, thank you to producer Nick Kirby. I'll be honest with you guys. He hates football. So for him to sit here and listen to all of us talk about college football, he's probably bored out of his mind. But Nick, you've taken this show to a completely different level and made it so much fun to do and so much fun to watch. So thank you for your time and effort on this. It's been incredible. Looking forward to basketball season. Nick is going to host he's going to host the basketball show. So here sometime soon we'll have a transition from the football. So really looking forward to that. John, thank you for your coverage of the team. Again, I don't want to get accused of being a John Manson fanboy like I was last week, but I am a John Manson fanboy. It's all good there. And lastly, I wanted to say Richie Longshots, he is absolutely dynamite. Like, he killed it tonight. It was so much fun to have him on, and he does a great job. Thank you for all the preparation that he puts into it. And with that, let's get it, and let's go get that dub down in Wake Forest. John, I'll see you there. You guys have a great week. Nick, thank you so much.